Ooby-doo! It's everyone's favorite boomer and vintage lens enthusiast. Today we're going to be looking at the Tokina, and it has this little red mark there. It's not an RC, it's something else. 24 millimeter 1 to 1.8 Japan. It's on an F mount, and I'm using a Photo-C Nikon to Nex adapter on the Sony Alpha 3000, which is a 20 megapixel mirrorless camera, but it has an electronic viewfinder and no articulated screen. I have two of these. I bought them because they're so cheap, and they're really good. They're really good. 20 megapixel, they take great pictures. If you want to get in the mirrorless, this is the way to go. And they take movies too. So why do I have twin Alpha 3000s? Well, so I could compare apples and apples, so to speak. I went to the Motorama car show in North Haledon on July 26, 2026, and I took my twin Alpha 3000 and I had the Canon FD 24 millimeter f2.8, and I wanted to do like a shootout, you know, to see what's what. And there is an advantage to like a third-party lens that has they make mounts for a whole bunch of different cameras. So not only they make an F mount, they made a Pentax mount. I believe they made an FD mount, all different flavors. So what's the advantage to the FD mount? Well, when you put the thing on, it's on. There's no like gimmicks or tricks. The Canon FD, you have to turn the whole thing, right? Well, just like there's two versions. That's a new version. It's just like any lens, and you put it on. But the adapter has a ring on it that you have to have in the open position to mount and dismount the lens, and then you have to put it in the lock position to make the aperture function correctly. Almost all the adapters I've seen, they have this sloppy ring that just has arrow lock or arrow open. And if you're changing that, and it's right next to the aperture ring. So if you're changing the aperture, you could change that ring. So if it's not fully locked, then the lens isn't going to stop down for you, right? So if you stop down to f11 and this ring moves, well, then you're not getting the aperture you want. And that's what happened to me when I went to the Motorama car show. So instead of shooting at f11, I was shooting at f4 and f5.6. I didn't notice until halfway through, and then I adjusted it, and I got f11. So what did I notice? Well, since I was shooting at f4 and f5.6, I had to reduce the ISO to a low ISO, like 100. I was still using really fast shutter speeds, and I wasn't getting any starbursts. Starburst is the fraction patterns you get off your diaphragm, your aperture, right, when it stops down. So I did see a couple of flare balls, but not very many, so its flare was well controlled. So, but this thing, I saw a lot of starbursts. There's a lot of chrome. You know, it was a bright, brilliant, sunny day. The sun would have a specular reflection of some chrome, and you get the starburst, right? So there should be artistic, and they really weren't that bad. It's just like a couple here and there. So there is that. I didn't shoot this at f4, at 5.6, strictly at f11. So it's a really nice lens. It takes really good pictures, and it's like only 1/5 the cost of a Canon. I see the Canons in excellent, like, new condition. They're going for $250. This is an excellent, like, new condition, and I got it for less than $50. You know, I took a gamble on Tokina a long time ago, and I was always satisfied. Well, back in 2008 or 2009, they came out with some wide-angle zooms that all the pundits were hyping about, and so I went and I bought them, and they were really good. So, and they were cheaper than Canon. So, new, for like electronic focus, autofocus, right? So then when I got into vintage lenses, I said, yeah, Tokina, let me check them out. It's all old school, old metal construction. They just have a rubber band for the focusing ring. It's nicely made. The optics are great, and they're dirt cheap. So I went out and I would go to my favorite used stores, and I would see a Tokina in excellent or like new condition, and I would buy it because they were $35, $50, $75. And they were all turned out to be real winners. And you're going to see in this slideshow, I can talk about it endlessly, but I'll do that in a slideshow. This is a 1-to-1 crop. So it's like a magnification. This is a wide angle. This is the Tokina 28 millimeter, 24 millimeter f2.8 at f11. Yeah, it's a nice lens. It has rich colors. It's very sharp. I was using this lens without a lens hood, and I was using the Canon without a lens hood also. It's early morning, 9 o'clock or something, so the sun wasn't that high in the sky, and there's still some shadows. And all the cars were casting shadows, and depending on which way you're looking, parts of the car are going to be in shadows and parts are going to be in the sun. Well, I like this car, huh? Cool. There's a lot of nice cars there. A lot of nice cars. You know, those old cars with their chrome and their mirror finish and the way the grills all got refracted and distorted. Here's another 1-to-1 crop. It holds up really well. It's good at distance and close up. Look, I'm a Canon guy. I've been in Canon guy for 40 years. And yeah, I got a collection of Canon lenses. I paid modest prices for them because sometimes I don't know, people don't want them, and all of a sudden they want them, then the prices go up. And I was cherry picking them all those years. Like when you could get a junky version for like 25 bucks, I was getting an excellent version for like 100 bucks. And now that same excellent version is like over 200 bucks. And that's when I decided to give Tokina a shot, because I could get an excellent or like new version for 50 bucks or less. And I started taking pictures and I was amazed. And that's why I wanted to do this comparison. Go to a place, use the same camera, have these two different lenses on each camera, right? And then take similar pictures. I didn't take the exact pictures, but I took similar pictures under the same environmental lighting and all that. The Tokina is an outstanding value. First off, it takes good pictures. It's sharp, it's colorful, distortion isn't that noticeable. You'll be pleased with these photos that you take of any subject. The city cars. I like cars. I'm so old, I used to see these cars on the street. And I got to go to car shows to see them. Even these older cars, I used to see these on the street when I was a kid back in the 60s. And then even newer models, things from the 50s and 60s. Those were just junker cars. Your old man bought one. He gave it to you when you're in high school. You either fixed it up or ran it into the ground. And now you want to see these cars. You got to go to car shows to see them. Oh my God, look at the chrome. Acres and acres of this brilliant chrome. Oh, it was a Pontiac theme. It's 100 years of Pontiacs. So everyone put their Pontiacs out. Well, I still had other cars too, like Vets or Fords and all that stuff. This picture, this is the interior. I took a picture of the whole car, and so the interior was dark. I was still able to adjust it a little bit and get that. And in close-ups, well, look at this guy. He had dew or something in his running light. I should have pointed it out to him, but sometimes the owners aren't hanging around, Tokina. I don't know. I got all the Tokina lenses I want, and I got them cheap, in excellent, new condition. I was so satisfied with them. Of course, I recommend using a lens hood on older lenses. But this lens was in excellent mechanical condition, and the optics were really clean. So yeah, I got away with it. I didn't need a lens hood. But did you notice the starbursts on the chrome? See, there's a starburst right there. That's from stopping down the f11. That's the aperture blades. Oh, there's a perfect example. That's a 1-to-1 crop. Get that starburst. But I was shooting into the sun. I was shooting like bright, shiny surfaces, and the thing handled it really well. I mean, it wasn't all flat and, you know, hazy and flary. No, it is, but that's the sun's reflection. The sun is reflecting off the chrome at that spot, and I got a sunburst at that spot, nowhere else. And if you look away from it, it's in really excellent shape and condition. I mean, the image. So, you know, my opinion is, if you don't need a Canon lens because you want this legendary lens, get yourself a Tokina instead. This thing went toe-to-toe with the Canon, and I used to say, oh, it's this close. Well, that close. For $50, I'll take the Tokina over a Canon. Oh, I got the Canon. I like the Canon. I was shooting a Canon F4, and it was doing really good. And here's another interior. It was dark, and it had to boost the shadows, and it came out really good. The Tokina. Highly recommend this lens. You know, pick them up now before everyone finds out about them and drives the prices up. You know, Tokina was a second banana. And, you know, everyone, oh, you want Canon, I want Nikon, I want Pentax. No, you can't go wrong with the Tokina. Oh, I guess there's crappy ones that have been dragged around too many rough corners, and you're going to be dissatisfied with it. Well, I don't buy those. I buy the best type I could get. This car had brass balls. I think it was a Plymouth. Let's see in the next picture. But this is a 1-to-1 crop. From being, you know, maybe three feet away. Some guys had these really outrageous hubcaps. But look at how good these pictures came out. You know, a Buick Roadmaster. Yeah, Tokina, you know, underrated lens. You should pick them up. Go for it. I recommend this lens. Considering I got it less than $50. Less than 50, maybe if it was $35. You know, people don't want them. Well, people should want them. Pick them up. You want to get a collection of lenses for your mirrorless camera, and you just don't want to have like a 24 millimeter. You could get a 24 millimeter. You could get some sort of zoom and some sort of telephoto, and for a price of one Canon lens. Not that I'm saying Canon lenses are bad. They're great optics, but you know, they're priced out of a lot of people's budget now. And they're just as good, really good. I got some other Tokina lenses. I'm going to do some more of this.